Hey, let's talk about it, cause honestly we need to talk about social issues, just uplifting my people. Yeah, let's talk about it. Come join the conversation. A connection's what we're creating. Yeah.
What's happening, everybody? How y'all doing? So check this out, right? First and foremost, my heart goes out to that young man that played for the Cowboys that committed suicide yesterday. Listen, what I wanted to talk about is that, especially as a man, you're taught that, boys don't cry, you gotta be tough, you know what I'm saying? These are things that we're taught as a young child. And so what happens is you grow up, a lot of men aren't in tune with their feelings. And a lot of men feel like if they, disclose how they feel, they're going to be looked at less than. Now, from the church aspect, we're taught that you're supposed to pray and you're supposed to have faith, right? This is what we're taught. And all of those are true, valid points, right? But let me tell you, losing my grandfather in March, March 14th, then losing my grandmother October 25th, and everything that happened in between there, I found myself in a place to where, I was just confused. I was hurt. I was angry, and the whole time, in between that time, I had to be there for my grandmother. And, everybody that know me, in real life know that I used to always tell her, everything's going to be all right. And if it ain't all right, it's still going to be all right, right? That was our mantra, right? And she would be like, Lil Rock, I was telling her that. But secretly, there were times that I didn't know. Like, I had faith, but it was like I still didn't know. And that's the human side of things, right? And what happens is you find your place in this in-between to where you're having a real life human being experience. You're hurt, you're angry, this, that, and the other. Then you have this other side that, you're trusting in God. But when you find yourself in that in-between time, if you're not careful, you will guilt yourself into a sense of delusion to where you're like, I'm just going to throw in the towel because I feel bad that my faith is low. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like you're in that in between. And for me, I was in that in between, but I still trust God. But I allowed myself to have human experiences and I tapped in. You see, I was always the type, I'm going to tell you how I feel. And, me coming on, here, social media, doing these videos and stuff, I always say this. I get on some people's nerves, right? Like I get on some people's nerves, and it's crazy because the content that I'm pushing out is nothing but positivity, right? But there's a segment of people that don't like positivity because it irritates the demons. Some people are so comfortable with chaos and confusion that anything positive comes, it gets on their nerves. But I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for the people that need to hear it, and I'm doing it for my mental health. I struggle still some days, and it's okay because I'm aware. And I'm strong enough to admit when I'm not strong enough. Let me say that again. I'm strong enough to admit when I'm not strong enough. You see, a lot of times people suffer in silence because of the image that they portray. See, they'll come on social media and act like they got the world figured out. So when life throws something at you, you can't ask for help because you're the one that's portraying that everything's all right. You're the one that's acting stronger and holier than thou. So now you suffer in silence because of the image that you're portraying. And I said this before, God will never bless who you pretend to be. I come on here and I say things because it's real. There's some days when I'm at work and I'm working and, something that happened or I think of something funny and I go to pick up the phone to call my grandma. And in those things, in those times, like I'm hurt. And I allow myself to cry because you got to feel, right? And after I cry, I'm just like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. This morning I came from the gym. I'm coming in. And I looked at the picture of my grandparents. And in that moment I got emotional, but it was sadness, but it was also happiness. Because I'm looking at them and I'm like, listen, in real time, they got to see me be the person that I'm becoming. So although I miss them in the physical, I feel them around me in the spiritual. And every time I'm about to do something wrong, and what I mean by wrong is I'm about to snap back at somebody, this, that, and the other, it's like their voice I always hear their voice. I hear my grandfather. Hey, listen, you know right. And because you know right, you know what I'm saying, you can't do what they do. And I just embrace all of that. And the problem is people don't want to be their authentic selves. They want to be something catered to a certain type of audience. They want to be the person that is able to look at everybody else and be like, man, they got this going on. That's why I always say, when people come to social media, and they use it as a mode of, snapbacks, or, 1 minute they saying, how good they are, the next minute this. See, there's a difference, because sometimes people like what the drama brings to their life. They like having drama because they like people, oh, what's wrong? You know what I'm saying? This, that, oh yeah, this, that, and other, blah, blah, blah. And let me tell you, these type of people, they will make a cryptic post and have 100 people asking, what's wrong? Are you good? And they won't respond. But then 3 hours later, they'll come on and be like, oh man, I just got such and such and such and such, right? Those are the people that's just screaming for attention. But the people who are authentic, they know who they can pick up the phone and call and just be like, listen, I'm going through it. I'm going through it. And that's where testimony is so big, because my test, and then I add the money on it, is going to help somebody else. Somebody might be going through or something similar that you're going through. And so many people don't go to church. So many people have different beliefs. So many people, as, like my grandma used to say, I'm from the show me state. You know what I'm saying? You got to show me. So many people live life like that. So you have people that are attached to you that's looking to see how you navigate it. And for some, that's a lot of pressure because they're not being their authentic self. So when you're not being your authentic self, you have a hard time showing people the ups and the downs. I have no problems. There are days, let me tell you something. I know I'm getting old because I will watch something on TV and man, I'll tear up. I will read a story about somebody, this, that, and I will tear up. But guess what? It's because I'm in touch with my feelings. To me, that is what a real man is. A person that can do what they have to do. And not only do what they have to do, they can be their authentic self and they're in touch with their feelings. Because if you're not in touch with your feelings and you're raising boys that's going to turn into men, you're teaching them how not to be in touch with their feelings. And one of the worst situations to be in is to encounter a man that's still a boy that has a gun and don't know how to navigate their emotions. They don't know how to navigate their emotions. So now an argument is pressing how this man feels about himself. So that bump and that dude saying, what you looking at? What he's doing is resorting back to childhood when his father or stepfather or uncle, this, that, and the other beat on him and told him, don't cry. You supposed to be a man. Now he's got a gun and this dude is testing his manhood and boom, 2 lives lost. You have to be in touch with your emotions. There is nothing wrong with therapy. Now, yes, you got to have faith. You got to, pray. You got to have that foundation. But there's some crazy folks out here, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be funny, but there's some crazy folks out here that they have to talk to someone. There's some people out here that say, oh, I ain't dealing with no medication to this, that, and other, and blah, 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 right? Then you read a story and they didn't kill the whole family. Now you saying, man, he was always crazy. No, listen. Sometimes when you want change, you got to be the change in your world, in your circumference. I say this all the time. A lot of people think globally and they forget locally. You will vote in your local elections because that's what's important to you, because that's local. But what are you doing for your local surroundings, which is your family, your friends? Anyways, man, for anybody out there that's going through something, anybody that's having some mental, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about just to have somebody feel sorry for you, but I'm talking about really going through and you find yourself in the in-between. Talk to someone. I'm talking about professional. Pray. Have faith. Make sure you around the right people that's not going to let you stoop. We all got people that we can call and complain, and they're going to complain right back to you. But you need to get you some people that's around you that's going to hear you out and then say, what do we do now? I didn't give you 15 minutes to complain about everything that you got going on. This 16 minutes, how are we fixing it? What can I do for you? And you have to be open to that. And you can't be open if you're trying to pretend to be something that you ain't.
Hey, let's talk about it, cause honestly we need to talk about social issues, just uplifting my people. Yeah, let's talk about it. Come join the conversation. A connection's what we're creating. Yeah.